the premier sports talk radio, it's Tony's Takes.
Here we go.
We're back with another great episode of Tony's Takes right here on YouTube for the best show in sports talk radio. And of course, I am not alone in the studio today. Sitting next to me is my co-host, Jimmy D. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing good, Tony. Glad to be back after that week off.
Yeah, I want to apologize to all the listeners of Tony's Takes. I did not foresee a connection issue between my hard drive and my machine, my computer. And so me and the intern had to go back into the computer, get the hardware, spread it out across the floor, troubleshoot all of the issues. But don't worry, we figured it out. We re-downloaded our software. We rebooted our computer. That way you could be listening to this show right now, this Thursday, 11/19/2020. And the good thing is that a lot of good news has happened over the last 2 weeks. The good thing is there are things other than the Eagles to talk about for once. This is or was or used to be, and I still like to see it as, a basketball show. It is with great heart that I get to say basketball is in the spotlight, and basketball is in the spotlight for good reason. Not because the 76ers are, tanking, or not because the 76ers couldn't score and win anything thanks to a bad Al Horford. In fact, we have gotten rid of Al Horford, and I can't believe it happened. This is because Daryl Morey knows what he's doing. And me and Jim talked about this a couple weeks ago. We said, I wonder what Daryl Morey's going to do for the 76ers. It's probably something that a lot of people throughout sports media have been talking about. And if you're joining Tony's Takes now, I know people are piling in. Let us hear what your thoughts are on the 76ers in the chat on YouTube. This is if you're listening to us live on YouTube. We all know that this show goes up on Apple Podcast after the recording of the live show. But here's the thing. We said, is Daryl Morey going to do anything? The answer is yes. He's done something. I was worried he was going to make a trade for James Harden, and this is still something that might happen. However, he did something that was even more important than getting another star or shipping Ben Simmons off and asking the question of, is it Joel versus, Ben Simmons on the court? Is it a question of, will these guys work or not? And it said, Daryl Morey said, or did, or went, hey, why are we worried about Ben and Joel? It's something to worry about, but there are other places that we can make improvements for this team. We can make an improvement and just get better at three-point shooting, because if there's one constant thing in the NBA right now, is that three-point shooting is not going away. Three-point shooting is the way that teams are capable of winning in the NBA in 2020 and going forward into the 20s. And so we can argue, and me and Jim can yell at each other all day about, is it Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid as the future of the 76ers? Once again, valid question. But I don't think you can have that argument without saying, did we set the table correctly and bring the right guys to this team? Al Horford was not the right guy. Josh Richardson, I'm sorry to say, probably wasn't the right guy for this program. It was Elton Brand being a GM for the first time and saying, I got to make moves in what was the craziest or the highest paying offseason in years in 2019. And it was a little bit clear that he was uncertain. Elton Brand was uncertain of what he wanted to do as a general manager. Well, now we have Daryl Morey, who knows exactly what he's going to do. And I love every minute of it. Jim, I'm sure you love every minute of it. It's just nice to see. Finally, we argue about the front office all day long. The front office, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. The ownership of this team, they don't know what they're doing. Finally, we have someone who knows what they're doing.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed about this, and I hope that you feel the same way about this as I do, I feel like Harris Blitzer Sports just stepped back and just let the front office do what they were supposed to do. Let Daryl Morey do what he had to do, let Elton Brand do what he had to do. And I feel like that resonates better with the direction that the Sixers want to go. I text you all the time about how much I don't like Harris Blitzer Sports and how I feel like they're just not connected with the city. Well, thankfully, they just took a step back and it just let the city basically come to Daryl Morey and Elton Brand. And I thought this was a good draft. I thought this was a couple of good trades that they made just before, and I have good thought that they're probably not done yet. I see probably. I mean, they have money left in the salary cap, so I see probably one big trade or one big free agency, one signing that's just going to make all of this make sense, because I do think that they're lacking just one more player to solidify this team.
Yeah, no, this isn't the completed project. I'm going to be the first one to help admit that. This isn't the final stage of what the 76ers are supposed to be. This is just the moves that needed to be made in order to ensure that the table, I'm going back to this thing, the table had to be set. The table had to be set for success. Regardless of who you went with, three-point shooting was something that needed to be corrected on this team. Because it's the future of the league. If you have Joel Embiid, you need to put people around the perimeter to make sure that he's not double-teamed every time he's in the paint. If you have Ben Simmons on this team, you need three-point shooters around him to make sure that his transition game is as potent as possible by dishing it out to two guys either on the right or the left side of the floor. So regardless of who you go with, both Danny Green and Seth Curry are going to make the 76ers better. They had the highest net rating when they were playing with Ilyasova and Marco Bellinelli. Remember those guys? Remember how much fun those guys were? And JJ Redick? Seth Curry's a better three-point shooter right now than JJ Redick is, or was. He's younger, handles the ball better, can pick and roll, is a little bit faster. This guy's got it all. Now, I heard someone saying, and Jim, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to get your thoughts on this. A friend of mine was saying, put Seth Curry off the bench. I don't like that idea. To run the second unit.
I don't like that idea either. And we just had a comment in the chat, which is going to lead us right into that conversation. So we have Evan Guerin who said, I want to hear your guys' starting five with the way the roster looks right now. I think that's I think we can go right into that, because that's one of the things that we had set up today. For me, I definitely see, I think you'll probably agree with me too. It's probably right now, as the roster looks, it's probably Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. Right? They have to be the best all-around players, experience-wise. They know how to be starting five. Like, that's got to be this starting five, right?
Yeah. And Jim, I'm going to put up this thing on the screen, and I hope everyone can see it. I don't know if it translates right away while we're talking with the software, but I'm pulling up the roster for you here, Jim, and it has your analysis and Basketball Reference. So we went from Ben Simmons, Josh Richards, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Joel Embiid, to Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Now, let's talk about Maxey. People think that this is the steal of the draft for the 76ers. And for the entire draft, that the 76ers got the best guy for where they were positioned. I don't know much on this guy. I know he's a shooting guard. His three-point shooting ability is a little questionable. It's not as high as you think you would want it to be for a shooting guard, but apparently he has nice athletic ability, and he will maybe be a spark plug off the bench for the 76ers.
I was just looking at highlights last night. Of course, you see who the Sixers draft, and you got to go right into the videos that you can find on that guy right away. One of the things I noticed about Maxey and Isaiah Joe, they both can stroke the ball from three. It was surprising. I see this, the one step in and just crash the ball in. Dude, just like their shots are so clean, and it's really exciting to watch both of those players just shoot from. Like Isaiah Joe, I've seen him shoot balls like well beyond the NBA 3-point line. Like these two players that they drafted, I think will be great guys off the bench to hit the threes that you might need. When the rotation kind of gets like mixed up and it's just Simmons and then some of the bench guys and Tobias Harris or whatever, and Embiid's resting or something, they're not playing them both together at the same time. You could see those guys really, stroke the ball for us. So it's exciting to see those rookies come in, and especially a guy from Kentucky. It just seems like you said this a few podcasts back, actually, that the Kentucky players have kind of been taking over the league lately.
Yes.
So I think that was just such a smart pick, and the rest of the league seems to feel that way as well.
Calipari always goes, my guy's the best. That's what Calipari's good at, backing his guys. And his guys have talent. And so I like seeing a Kentucky guy on the team. Because his roster drafting for the 76ers has always been, let's find someone that's from Europe. Or let's find someone who's from Wichita State. And it's like, yeah, those are nice. Diamond in the roughs are fun to find when you have unlimited draft picks thanks to Sam Hinkie. They got in this idea of we're always going to have 4 draft picks to just throw around. And they had to wake up a little bit, and Daryl Morey's an excellent guy for evaluating talent. There's no doubt about it. He plucks guys. He's the one who found Robert Covington originally. And so when I see that, I go, oh, yes, Kentucky. Finally, we're going for a school that does bring out polished players, and there's no doubt about it. So I don't want to cut my train of thought off, but I want to read the chat. We always read the chat here on Tony's Takes. Really do appreciate everyone listening to the show right now. We're talking about the 76ers, their new acquisition of some great players. And if you're here on YouTube for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the show. Double tap the notification bell. That way you get notified every time we go live. I want to read the chat. We go Frank McLucy. Lots of trust in DM. Agree with Tony. He is showing he knows what he is doing. Love Danny Green as a 3-and-D guy. Always need shooters. Love to see another big move soon. That's you in the chat, Jim. Jammers092 and Peter Simmons. Who would want to see the team more centered around? You mentioned Evan Gerrans, and then Frank McLucy goes, Cal is the best one-and-done coach ever. Funny story, I always like to say Phil Martelli could have been that guy, but he decided not to be. And we're going to get into the Hawks later tonight.
So, Tony, real quick, just because I mentioned it in the chat, we texted about this. Embiid or Simmons, where would you want to see the team move forward if you had to pick one guy? Mm-hmm. One of the things I posed to you in that text chain was, why can't we just have like a Magic and Kareem, duo? Why like they're both of them are very similar to those players as far as like their height, the athletic ability. I don't know. What's your take on that? Can we have that?
No. The league is going in a different direction, and you can listen, viewers of Tony's Takes, you can go and listen to a lot smarter people say this, because the way in which teams are built are clearly three-point oriented. Thanks to Daryl Morey and James Harden, this is just the way the league has been moving lately. And you can say, sure, the Warriors, this is a misconception people have about the Warriors. The Warriors are a 3-ball team. No, they're not. Or in their prime, they weren't. What they were was a smart team. They were good at finding the correct shot. In the beginning of the dynasty, it was the 3-ball. It was Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers. When Kevin Durant came, it was a modified version of that, where Kevin Durant was taking advantage of this mid-range game thanks to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just being unrelenting from 3. And then it migrated even further, where Draymond Green was scoring under the basket constantly. The Warriors actually had a decent mid-range game compared to most teams, because as teams started respecting the 3 more and more and more, the Warriors went, okay, well, we're going to be contested a lot more around the perimeter. Let's move in. And so, unfortunately, people aren't as smart as me, and especially the general managers and coaches, they go, let's just shoot the 3 like the Warriors. And what they never realized was the Warriors were just good shooters, and they were willing to exploit different parts of the court. You didn't guard the 3-ball back in 2010 that much. The Warriors exploited that. Now you guard the 3-ball too much. The Warriors said, let's go to this place right between the 3 line and the paint. It's about 14 feet from the rim, and no one ever is guarding us there. And we're really athletic and we're really fast and we can get there. So, I want to see the Sixers go and pave their own way forward. I would love to see them be Kareem and Magic. Would love to see them do it. Unfortunately, one negative is the Sixers aren't very functional as a roster right now. They're not as good as those Lakers teams were. And on top of that, they tried a really big lineup and it didn't work. They already kind of tried that method. It didn't work. However, two things in the positive for this. One, they have new shooters. Maybe now it's possible with some shooters because they're the only two operating in the paint. The other thing is, the Lakers just won an NBA championship and they were the second biggest roster in the league. So maybe there is a path forward as big. Maybe 3 is gone now that Houston's being dismantled as a franchise. Very possible. It's what are you willing to do as a team? Are you willing to make your own path forward? I'd like to see it work. Maybe it does work because we have new 3-ball shooters. Would love to see it work. But can I commit to it right now? No. However, do I want to commit to something where we don't try at least one more time? That's also a no. However, after this season, I am going to bang the drum of these guys need to be traded. We knew after last year someone had to be traded. This year, this is the test. Daryl Morey got you the best 3-point shooters you're going to find in the league for what you had and what you were going to trade for. Danny Green is a good shooter, Jim. Let's throw this up on the board. For those watching Tony's Takes, you can see live right now on your screen, Jim was texting me the other day and goes, Danny Green, he played awful in the playoffs.
He's a bum.
It's true. He played awful in the playoffs. I'll admit it to you. But he shot 36% from 3. That's pretty decent. The year before that, he shot 45% from 3 for 80 games.
The year before that, he shot 36.
His 2-point percentage is increasing over the years. It was at .524 this year, an effective field goal rate of .542. His steals, now get a load of this, Jim. We say defense doesn't work well as you age. His steals are increasing as the years go on. He's at 1.3 for last year, which is up from the year before with the Toronto Raptors. His rebounding, it's okay. I'm not asking him to do rebounding. And with the way he plays, aging players who only shoot threes, I'm willing to take risks on them, and I'm willing to say they're going to be better than the aging Al Horford, and I'm going to be willing to say, hey, didn't Ray Allen win up? Now, this guy's not Ray Allen, but actually he has more championships than Ray Allen. Not a 3-point shooter like Ray Allen, but his shooting form doesn't deteriorate as much as the athletic ability in players. The only thing that worries me, Jim, I got to say, yeah, he might be worrisome. Look at that free throw percentage, folks. Go down to LA, NBA, scroll over to the free throw percentage, 68%. Now that's worrisome. What is a player like that, who has pretty good shooting form, missing that many free throws? That's worrisome.
Hey, Tony.
What's up?
You like to throw out that 3-point percentage from 2018, 2019, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time before that he shot that high?
What, from 3?
Yeah. Never. That was the highest.
Oh, I'm sorry, but 418, 429, 436 isn't good enough for you?
Yes, in 2012, 2013. We are going into 2020 to 2021 season.
Yeah, but look who was surrounding him on those San Antonio teams from 2015 to 2016 is a bad year.
Tony, he's 33.
Shooting doesn't decrease when you're older.
He's scoring 8 points a game.
That's all I need him to do.
I'm fine.
He's going to score more points than he did on the Lakers because he's going to have, first of all, he's going to have a much more open shot because LeBron increased his 3-point
I'm
shooting.
fine with having a bum on the team. That's okay.
He's not a bum.
We had Al Horford on the team last year, and he scored more.
This guy's going to be productive.
Al scored 12 points a game. That was productive, but it didn't work.
4 championships and 3 in a row. Frank agrees with me. He goes, he has experience and play well.
Frank is a Tar Heels fan.
I don't care. Tar Heels are a good program.
They are a good program. He's just biased to Danny Green.
That's fine because Danny Green's pretty good. Now let's go to Seth Curry.
Hold on. Final note on Danny Green for you. The best thing about this trade was unloading Al's contract. And I don't want to sit here and pretend that Danny Green is the answer to all our problems. My big thing is that we got rid of Al, and I'm happy for that. I'm not going to be like really excited for Danny Green to shoot 2 threes a game. Because guess what, Tony? With the passer in Ben Simmons, you could make 2 threes a game.
I'm tired of the Danny Green slander, and so is one of our callers. We've got Tommy from Delaware. He's near the Biden headquarters, I think, with some live news coverage. Tommy, let's get the Danny Green stuff out of the way. This is ridiculous.
Thanks for having me, fellas. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing well. Jim's drinking a water right now. He doesn't even want to look at me.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Okay, cut to the chase. What are we feeling, Tom?
Well, we're talking Sixers. Loved the draft last night. I texted Tony earlier in the day saying Cole Anthony or Isaiah Joe. Joe slid way more than I expected, but totally fits what I think Morey wants in a guy. Could knock down shooter, can stretch the floor, length, can defend. And I think he was a volume shooter last year, so I think percentage will increase this year. And I really think Maxi's a huge steal at 21. Just an absolute gamer. Can defend at a really high level. I think his shooting is going to increase as well. He's got to fix his release is a little low and his arc's kind of low. But I'm really excited for that. They got in him. So
yeah, I was
super successful draft night for a long time, I think.
Yeah, and I was surprised how low his three-point shooting percentage was in college, but we can change that. I think Daryl Morey's going to hopefully hire the right staff around training and things like that. I'm sure he has connections to make guys better. That's his forte, is turning, something into nothing into something.
Definitely. And happy to see. I mean, Horford and Richardson, I'd never had a liking for anyway, so it's nice that we have an actual identity in place.
Richardson was a little lethargic for me sometimes.
I agree. So Curry excites me a lot. I didn't realize he shot 45% from 3.
Yeah.
Much like Draymond didn't. So that'll be exciting. I think he starts as well. I think you have to start him.
It looks like Curry's really starting to get into like the prime of his career. Like we got Curry at the right time, it looks like.
Yeah.
Based on stats.
Yeah, he looks good. Thomas, I know that you're calling in about St. Joe's, so let me hear it. What do you got to say about the Hawks?
I'm excited. I hope a week from today we're recapping a big Thanksgiving win. So hopefully everyone stays healthy before then. Unfortunately, I saw the Bonnies have their quarantine period starting today, so they won't be playing next week. So it's gonna be a tumultuous season. I think it's gonna work out in the long run, but there's gonna be bumps in the road. I'm excited. I think a lot of big media sleeping on St. Joe's this year. Obviously, last year wasn't pretty, but a lot of new pieces coming in. Like I think a similar philosophy with Sixers. We actually, unlike in years past, we have an identity. We know what we're recruiting to that. We're getting pieces to that. So it's going to be fun to shoot a lot of threes. They're going to be getting in transition, hopefully. Defense sounds like it's going to be a lot better after last year's disaster. So I'm excited. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but it should be enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. The only thing that's going to be bumpy, the only road that's going to be bumpy is the road that Phil Martelli defenders travel on. Because Billy Lang and the Lang Gang, as you famously have coined, I believe, is coming to town, Bruce Springsteen style, and they're going to kick butt, and they're going to make all of the people, maybe named Elizabeth, cry every other night. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't even know. I'm just so excited. I'm getting flustered thinking of all the insults that I'm going to be able to draft up as people who laughed at Jill Bodensteiner, who laughed at St. Joseph's University, who said, "Why are we changing? I'm so scared of change." Wake up. Wake up. The future's here. Billy Lang is here, and all the people at A10 Talk are finally waking up to this. All of a sudden, I log into the website, and all these people are writing St. Joe's articles. Where the hell did you guys come from? It's like they're coming out of the woods.
Yeah.
What? It's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. I think, like I said, I think we win next week against Auburn. I think that's going to stir some people up. a lot of people were not happy that St. Joe's got the best non-conference schedule in the country. That's not our problem.
Yeah, let them cry about it.
Yeah, but I mean, no, I don't think even the 3-bid league that was on, I don't think they gave St. Joe's the respect they deserve. Look, they obviously last pretty one of the worst defensive teams in the country, one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country. But you look at from last year, we were going maybe 7 with 2 walk-ons.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going 9-10 deep with athletes off the bench. We're going to have open shots. We're not going to be able to have Daly having to play 37 minutes a game, taking bad threes, contested shots, tired legs. I think it's going to be energetic. It's going to be hopefully high-flying. I'm excited to see Foster running point, athleticism, maybe some full-court press. So I think it's going to be exciting.
Tommy, I said 8-10 before we let you go. I said 8-10 for the Hawks for the conference record. Where do you think the Hawks will end? Is it higher than 8-10, or is it lower than 8-10, or is it at 8-10?
I didn't do a game by game. I know what you said. I'm trying to think. I think I know who your wins were. I'm gonna go. Was it 18 games?
18
I
games.
I think they win at least. I think they win 3 games in the non-conference before, and then I think they win. I'm flipping 3 of the games that you had them losing. I have them beating Duquesne. I have them beating VCU at home, and I have them beating Rhode Island the second time. So I think I have them 11 and what is that, 7?
Yeah, that's 11-7. Wow, I don't think you could be happier if you're a St. Joe's fan. That puts you at a 5 to 6 seed in the conference.
Yeah, I'm super optimistic. I think, especially early in the season, I don't think Auburn's gonna have any tape of what to expect. So I think we're gonna come out in the first half. I think we're gonna put a hurting on. So I'm excited. Kansas and Nova will be interesting. So we'll see after that.
We're gonna blitz them in Florida. Tommy, thanks for coming on Tony's Ticks. Really do appreciate it. We miss you when you used to be producer on this lovely show.
Yeah, and hey, try and sneak in next week for some media coverage.
Oh, yes, I know. I'll be asking the hard and fast questions. Tommy Higley in Delaware live from the Biden campaign. Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Tom.
I love getting calls from Thomas. Great, a Delaware lad.
It's been a while
The
for
good thing is
me.
he didn't go to Archmere, like Evan.
Oof.
I hope he's listening right now. What are your thoughts on those comments? I really liked it. I think Tommy's really high on the Hawks.
I think 11-7 is bold.
Bold.
I would have thought 9-9 was bold, but
Oh yeah, 9 wins.
in the conference,
9 wins is a big move. That's you're 11 wins, folks. You're talking 5 seed bye on the first day. You're talking, oh yeah, we're going to the conference finals game. That's what 5 seed gets you. Gets you in a conversation on CBS Sports the day of the tournament. They're talking, hey, remember that St. Joe's team? They play a really unique style in the Atlantic 10. They give teams trouble. They beat some of the best in our conference prior to being a 5 seed. To get to the 5 seed, you got to beat the good teams. You got to beat St. Bonaventure. You got to beat Richmond if you want to be there.
Tony, you know what I'm saying? I don't really care too much about what this Fort Myers tip-off looks like, right?
Yeah.
I'm fine with the first 2 games. What I'm looking at is November 30th at Villanova. After you play the University of Kansas, you're going to come and play Villanova. I feel like they're going to have a lot easier time playing Villanova than playing Kansas.
So I'm not going to say names or anything. Gather around the campfire, kids. And yes, Evan goes uncalled for, Anthony. That might be true. It might be uncalled for. Gather around the campfire. Get close to your personal device as I tell you this story. At work the other day, I was talking to a coworker who shall remain nameless, and they informed me that they had gone to Villanova. They're around my age. And I said, oh, really excited. I'm really excited about this year's game. And they go, what game? I go, oh, St. Joe's Villanova. I went to St. Joe's. I didn't tell the kid. And I go, oh, yeah, sorry. I went to St. Joe's. Me and Jim Jam. We went to St. Joe's. And he goes, oh, yeah, you think it's a rivalry, right? And then my manager goes, verbatim goes, yeah, probably not. I wouldn't consider it a rivalry. You guys are more concerned about Georgetown. As if Georgetown's good. Remind me when Jim, I'm going to cough an attack.
Oh, jeez. Remind Tony when Georgetown was good.
Let me give a water. Keep talking.
Probably go with Allen Iverson, right? Definitely.
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah. Long time
And
ago.
I look at him, I go, what? Well, I didn't look at them. It's all over the phone. I go, what? I go, sorry, do you need a history lesson? You have the same amount of championships as LaSalle did for the last 40 years. These Villanova kids, Jim, you triggered me. Trigger warning.
Oof.
You triggered me when you said that. Because there's nothing I would love more, folks, than beating Villanova. That is a statement game. That is the we're here to stay. Because prior to Jay Wright in 2012 or 2010, it was a competitive series. People forget Temple owned the Big Five for all of the 90s. People forget LaSalle had a championship before Villanova. That LaSalle was the best team in the not the A10, in the Big Five for many, many years. The fact that St. Joe's had went to a Final Four and had Dr. Jack Ramsey as our coach. People like to forget that because they just want to talk about Villanova. Because all the wealthy people who drive Mercedes-Benz out on the main line, they want to talk about their winner in Villanova. But who cares about that? You actually are from Philadelphia. You're not a Villanova fan. You hate them. Because what do they stand for? They stand for buying your way to the top. Buying your way to the top. Check out our fancy school. Come and buy a sweater at the bookstore. And yeah, we wear ties to class. Get that out of here. I don't care how many new dorms you're building over at Villanova.
Which is not Philadelphia, by the way.
Which is not Philadelphia, by the way. No. And sure, St. Joe's isn't the most urban area. Okay, sorry. But when you have the zip code, that's all that matters. 19131. That's all that matters.
My point being, Tony, that coming off of Auburn and Kansas, I really think that St. Joe's will be prepared. They'll be in their third game of the season, kind of start gelling. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of us taking a game from Villanova for the first time in a while.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
And then we go and we play Bradley right after that. We beat them last year. I don't see why we're not. We could be 2-2. Best case scenario, we're 2-2.
We could have no wins going into Villanova and beat them.
Yeah.
You know, like the prior games don't even matter at that point because it's just the emotions run high. I mean, it's Villanova, and as much as they want to laugh at St. Joe's, we're not a podunk program, folks. We are not a blue blood program. Sure, Fox Sports 1 doesn't talk about us. But there's a reason why Villanova kept us out of the Big East 10 years ago. Michael Glavin, our coach, talked about that. I don't know if you were ever on that 18-miler with me, Jim. Glavin talked about how St. Joe's tried to go in the Big East and Villanova shot it down. Can't share the Philadelphia market. We might have to go to Wells Fargo and play the games together.
Tommy Higley says, New Philadelphia. Boo.
Oh, those jerseys? Yeah. New Philadelphia. New Philadelphia's run by the Villanova elites of this world. Ugh. So disgusted. So disgusted with Villanova. But my point goes to this. All of this. Games are being canceled left and right for non-conference schedules. This is true. It worries me, and I have a piece coming out at a10talk.com to talk about it. But regardless of what happens, I think conference games are going to occur for St. Joe's. And I think, or I know, because I'm a smart guy, that St. Joe's is going to be right around 500. They're going to get that guaranteed. They're going to play 18 games this year at the minimum. At the minimum, they're going to play 18 games. And there's going to be a tournament. It could be May Madness. We didn't talk about this, Jim. I didn't put this in the write-up. But May Madness, something that the famed Rick Pitino talked about. He said, move it back to May. It's May Madness. I kind of see why May Madness might work. As long as it guarantees a tournament, I'm okay with it. Delaying it a month is better than not having it at all. But I know for a fact St. Joe's is at least going to get 18 conference games in, and I'm confident that Jill Bodensteiner is going to make sure that our Hawks, our precious St. Joe's Hawks, are healthy and ready to go. Let's go to another caller, Jim. That's right. I didn't tell you about this one, but we've got a second caller on the line. We got Sean P. in Montgomery County. Sean, you can hear us.
Tony, I can. How are we doing?
Good.
Last time, real quick, last time Georgetown was good was like when they lost to Dunk, what was it called? The Dunk City or whatever down in Florida Gulf Coast. I think that was the last time that was a relevant team.
But you agree with me with saying that even like, yeah, you can say
it's
Georgetown is
insulting.
our rival. Georgetown does nothing in the Big East. Seton Hall is more of a threat to Villanova every year.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of the Big Five and the Taunton Villanova game, even though it's a little bit of a ways out, I mean, everyone gets up for the Big Five games. Nova almost gets beaten in a Big Five game, whether it be Temple, Penn, LaSalle. Every year, they're always tight games. I don't know if it's they kind of underestimate their opponent or if it's just that everyone gets up to play the quote unquote big dog of the quote again city. But
Oh, you mean the new Philadelphia?
Oh yes, the new Philadelphia, exactly. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how St. Joe's plays them this year because they played them tight last year. They couldn't knock down a shot from the outside, and you have to think about like looking at that roster you have coming in this year. I mean, their starting five is going to be basically 3, maybe 4 guys who basically didn't play last year. You have Foster, who didn't play last year. You have Bishop, who didn't play last year. You have Funk, who was hurt, didn't play much last year. You have Daly. And maybe you have Longpree. Maybe you'll throw Hall in there. Maybe Jackson. I don't know. Probably Longpree to start. But, I mean, he won't play, like, crazy significant minutes. And the thing with St. Joe's with me this year is just the ability to have so many guys who can actually play basketball at a high level. You have 2 guys in Foster and Bishop who are 4-star recruits coming out of high school who played in major schools and major conferences. And
Right.
I think that's really important to have that kind of experience coming back to St. Joe's, coming back home and kind of filling out this roster to a point where Daly can play his true position and isn't going to be getting double teamed every game.
With this team, you can Daly can trust the guys he passes the ball to. He does not have to worry about making a pass and it going in the wrong direction or being thrown into the stands by Taylor Funk, because I think he's going to be a little bit more mature this year with how he operates the ball, and he's going to get it passed to him and they're going to expect him to pass it too. It's a high-flying, fast-moving offense. I finally think Daly can go, I pass the ball real quick, I can make a hard cut to the rim, and the ball's going to get back to me in the right spot for me to shoot or make a layup or, make some form of a move off the ball. I know it's going to come back to me,
Exactly. And a guy I'm really, really high on, I keep talking about him when I'm talking with you and Hadley about it, that's Jordan Hall out of Newman Goretti. I mean, this kid's a stud. He single-handedly beat Roman Catholic, who was like odds-on best team in the entire state of Pennsylvania last year. They have 2 top recruits in the country. They had a point guard who was at one point playing down at Montverde. It's like crazy. And this kid, Jordan Hall, basically best player on the team, best player on the floor, was playing point guard as a 6'8" forward, was playing point guard running their offense, and was one of the best passes I've ever seen live in my entire life. I've seen Simmons play. I've seen NBA point guards. I've seen Chris Paul. And this kid can just pass the ball. And I think he's getting not a lot of buzz right now, but you're going to see, at least by the time A-10 play starts, he's going to be a significant player coming off the bench for this team.
Right.
Playing probably over 20, 25 minutes a game and just making passes. Every game he's going to make a pass or two and you're like, wow, that's like a pass. He's someone at the Nets level mates.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Sean P., I asked Higley this question. I want to ask you this question. I said 8-10. Do you think it's over or under on the conference record? 8-10.
The A-10's tough this year. It's Rothstein, my guy. He's my go-to guy, John Rothstein. He's given the A-10 all the love it deserves this year, and rightfully so. I mean, he listed out the teams with the best non-conference schedules in the country this year, and listed out, and 8 of them were A-10 teams, or 6 of them were A-10 teams, whatever. And it's going to be a tough conference, and every game is going to be a bit of a dogfight. But I think with the experience of guys and kind of the talent we have in this roster, your 8 wins is very reasonable. And I think 9 or 10 is also very reasonable. They won 2 games in the conference last year to quadruple, even whatever, that's be quintuple, whatever, I don't even know, your wins to 5 times the amount of wins you had in conference last year. It would be an incredible step forward, and they're going to set themselves up to be a team who's contending to win the A10 next year is where I really think that they're going to do their damage. But this year is going to kind of show them that, all right, like last year we were kind of getting our feet set under us, and now we got some boys, and like we're ready to go. So I'm thinking like 8-9 wins is probably my reasonable expectation. It's going to surprise a lot of people. Everybody has them finishing 12, 13, 14 the A10. But, I mean, rightfully so. There's so much unknown of this team with all these new guys. I mean, you have Foster, you have Forrest, you have Bishop, you have Funk coming back, you have Hall, you have Jackson. Like, you have all these guys you just don't know about. I mean, what kind of roles they're going to play and how the coach is going to use them. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the season progresses. I think this team is just going to get better. So I wouldn't be surprised if they lost their first 4 games of the A10 and to VCU, Rhode Island, Bonnies, and St. Louis, and I wouldn't be surprised if they rattled off wins against Davidson, LaSalle, Mason, Richmond, Duquesne, Bonaventure, LaSalle, 7 games in a row. I wouldn't be surprised if it did that after starting out losing their first 4. It's like this team's going to get better as the year goes on. These guys get more comfortable playing with each other, and I think that by the end of the year, it's like they're going to be the team nobody wants to play come A10 tournament time. And they're going to be a team who, even if they're an 8-9 seed in the A10, could knock off the 1 seed in the quarterfinals and could, make a run at it.
Right. Sean P., I really do appreciate you calling in. I love the Hawks hype, the Lang gang.
Dude, I'm feeling good about them this year.
It's going to be great.
That Villanova game, I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but I mean, we got guys who can cover there. We have 4-star athletes who can cover their 2 superstar guards in Gillespie and what the hell the guy's name is.
Yeah, you don't even have to worry about his name. He's going to be a nobody after the Hawks get through with him. Sean P., Thanks for calling in. We're going to have to let you drop.
Absolutely, Tony. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Great guy from Sean P., another original producer. I didn't tell Jim, but I had scheduled these 2 on the call because we got Hawks hype. It's the thing of the show is college basketball, is it not, Jim?
It is. And Tony, one of the things that Sean P. said there, that it's something that kind of echoes what you've been saying, is that this team is going to get better as the season goes on. And I do agree with you. I think that's going to be a major player in this season.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to go to... Sorry, I'm looking at some things. I got people calling me at my house. I got people calling me on the personal phone when I'm talking to Sean P. I got people all over the place. No idea where I'm at.
What a popular guy.
I'm a popular guy. I just want to say this. Couple words. I know it's a little bit of a monologue, but I'm going to stick to... I was going to talk about COVID, but I think I covered it earlier saying, don't be surprised if non-conference games gets canceled for St. Joe's. Okay, it's whatever. But I want to talk about the St. Joe's Hawks. This is what I wrapped up with my A10 Talk piece the other day, and I went, as the season has approached, I've continued to beat the drum and proclaim that this team is better than last year. This has to be a season where Lang's scheme translates to wins, and an 8-10 Atlantic 10 record would put the Hawks right around the 8th through 10th spot in the conference standings. This would be a considerable improvement from a year ago. Nonetheless, fans should still be skeptical of the idea that relentless threes are the path to an improved record. Lang is a smart coach. Expect the team to pivot away from the excessive 3-ball if the roster can't find a rhythm. This team has the talent to diversify the method in which it scores points. Still, the way to overcome doubt and skepticism is to win on the court. St. Joe's has to beat the teams they are supposed to beat. The prediction above, which I wrote on a10talk.com, reflects them just doing that. This team will start out slow as the athletes learn to synchronize with one another, but by the end, they will find a rhythm and allow their talent to win games. Overall, St. Joe's needs to demonstrate that the scheme can work. They don't have to win the conference. They just have to take care of business. And in the end, Hawk Hill will be happy if St. Joe's can beat up on LaSalle, UMass, and Fordham, and upset a good team or 2. I think that sums it up. Some of my best writing sums it up right there. Jim, let's give you time to talk Eagles. You've got a rant, 15 minutes of Eagles talk to close out the show, to make our bets for the week. The Eagles are still going on. Who knows if they make the playoffs at this point? But Jim, I'm going to give you the floor.
You want me to run the gauntlet?
Run the gauntlet.
Okay.
No swearing.
No swearing. What on earth did we watch on Sunday? I want to fire Howie, fire Doug, and sell the team. That was the biggest piece of garbage I have ever seen from a team that is in command of their division coming out of the bye week. They had a 78% chance, Tony. 78% chance to win the division after the bye. This team is not a professional football team. Can we agree on that? They're like a peewee football team. They don't even look like they know what they're doing out there. It's like their first time playing the game. 3rd and 18, Tony. Think about this. 3rd and 18, they run the ball on 3rd and 18 for 1 yard. Who are they? Like, what happened to the Eagles? Where are the Eagles from a couple years ago?
Where are their cojones?
They used to be fearless on 3rd and long, launching the ball. You know, like 4th and 26, Donovan McNabb against the Green Bay Packers. Like, stuff like that. That's what we were seeing a few years ago. They don't even look a little bit like that. And I said, I told you this, that they're the Beagles for all I care because they just go out there and they dog it the whole time. Every game they look more and more pitiful.
That is absolutely gold.
And I had a lot of pride being positive this entire season. You know, like, oh, you know, we're gonna get through this. You know, this is gonna be fine. We're still gonna win the division. Now we're through week 10, and this is where this is where teams get certified who they are, and this is what we are. We're a below 500 team with slimming chances to make the playoffs. You know, after the bye, they have everybody back. Everyone is healthy again, and you lose by 10 to the Giants. The Eagles hadn't lost them in almost exactly 4 years. I believe it was November 23rd or something like that. So we're coming up on the 4-year mark, 2016. And they chose a year where the division games mean the most, and they lose. It's not even football anymore. They had Miles Sanders running 32 yards on his first 4 carries, and they stopped running the ball. That's 8 yards a carry. All they had to... They just went to throw the ball.
Keep bringing it. Keep doing it. I like this.
They just went to start throwing the ball. Dallas got a 6'5" with a 35-inch vert, and Wentz is throwing the ball half foot too high for him. What is that? And then after the first half, what do you expect? After the first half, I expect Doug, go get their butts back inside and ream them out and tell them that they're playing like crap and try and get them jolted and amped for the second half. And they come out, and they did nothing in the third quarter.
Here's the thing. Okay. I understand. Breathe in, breathe out. Jim, do you need a brown paper bag to breathe into?
Yes. I need a brown paper bag to hide my face from how red it's getting from watching these Eagles.
Okay. So here's the thing about, and you have valid points, right? I totally agree with what you're saying. This team questions. There's a lot of questions around this roster.
We're going to finish 4-11 at this point. 4-11-1.
Possibly. And you might need these draft picks. Who knows? But here's the thing.
I don't trust them to draft.
Well, you don't trust Howie Roseman to draft.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Grand scheme of it all. 3 weeks ago, I said the Giants could win the division. And I was right. And the reason why I'm right is because during the game against the Giants, they made the critical error of going it for too many times. Missing it. Now you're down 4 instead of 3. Right? They were down 4. They say, we're going to go for 2, so we're down 2. Instead of kicking it and being down 3. They miss. The Giants go back and score. Now the Eagles are down 11. And the offense has to go out there and look at themselves and go, we can't score a touchdown and then kick a field goal, which is a more probable event, making the onside kick and hitting a field goal, than scoring 2 touchdowns with 3 minutes to go.
You don't have to go down the field all the way.
Exactly. You can do a quick kick and then try to get the ball, and then, okay, now we're going to try to score a touchdown at the end. A lot more things on the table, a lot more maneuvers that can be made in that regard. But for Doug to keep going for 2 over and over again, it's getting old. It's not working. Going on 4th down 47% of the time doesn't work. That's not how the analytics are run. The analytics work when, we're down 3 yards, and it's this point, and we have these many points, and in this situation, these are what the odds look like. But Peterson just goes, the analytics go, we should go for 2 almost every time. No, go for 2 in the right scenario. You should be going for 2 maybe 20% of the time, and it's because the conditions of the game match the requirements of what converting a 2 or converting a 4th down gets you.
I don't even care what the stats say. Just have it naturally happen. It doesn't even have to be 20% of the time. It could be 10 to 30. It just make it natural.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, situation. Sorry.
No, it's okay. This is a working session. This is for you to breathe just a little bit. And I think that
this is my therapy.
This is your therapy. We're in our happy places. This is what it is. So, here's the final point for the Eagles. They can still win the division. They can still do a lot of great things, and I expect them to. Expect them to be pretty decent. But the play calling has to change. And like the 76ers, at some point, we are going to have to change either the coach or the players or the GM. The Sixers did that, and look where they're at now. We have a little bit of a refresh, and things are looking a little bit better for them. Maybe that's what the Eagles need, because the way they're picking talent isn't as good as it used to be. And Carson can still throw the ball a little bit. Just a little bit.
It just shows that Carson, my first analysis of him when we first drafted him, I didn't like him that much because I thought he was inaccurate. Then when he had the right coach that was riding him all the time, he became this MVP style quarterback with the right plays that were being called. It was just a perfect storm for him. It's no longer like that. This is the Carson that we drafted. It's the same exact guy. He's not that good. And I want to stand by him, but I just can't do it because when you're a Philadelphia fan, you tend to emulate the energy from the players, right? They're not playing with their hearts out there. Carson's holding on to the ball. I know he just wants to prolong plays, but he's not really like, I don't know. I don't see any heart from him. I just see frustration. And that's what you get from the fans. We're not going to have any heart, and we're just going to be frustrated with you if you're going to be the same way. Just go out there and play the game. Have a good time. If you start enjoying the game more, the fans are going to enjoy the game more.
You play to win the game. Herm Edwards.
Well, they're not playing to win the games.
Okay, Jim, give us your picks.
All right, so the line, it's plus -3 in the favor of Cleveland. So they're -3. Eagles are +3.
And they're in Cleveland.
Yeah. And then the total, so basically it's a wash because home field is typically 3 points.
Yeah.
So it's like a pick 'em basically. The total is 46.5. So I haven't done a lot of thinking on this one. I know, you put that stat that the Eagles are actually 3-6 against the spread. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the Eagles +3. I think they're gonna win this game.
Okay, and you're over under? You got to answer it.
The way that the offense has been going, I'm gonna go under.
He's going under.
Eagles +3 and under. You heard it here first.
Okay. I like it, but I don't like it that much. So here we go. This is my pick. A little breaking news. Here's Tony's pick for the day. The Eagles are stinky. They're terrible. They're bad. They're no good. Baker Mayfield, he still thinks he's making it to the playoffs, and so do I. I think the Eagles are out. I think the Giants are in. I've said this many times before, and so I'm taking the Browns at home. It's going to be windy. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be feeling like Thanksgiving time. And Carson Wentz is inaccurate. What does that say? What does that say about this team? It's going to be inaccurate throwing if the wind and the rain and the snow and all the nasty stuff of Cleveland is blowing in the air. So, give me the Browns at 3. Especially because it's home field. And I don't think the Eagles are going to stick to the run like they should. But give me the under. I'll take the under. The Eagles are 3-6 this season, Jim, against the spread. Let's not be fooled. Do not let it fool you. So, that's what we have. And here's the thing. The final words as we wrap up today's show. We got 5 minutes left. Philadelphia sports needs a changing. We need to turn things around. Maybe it's you trade for James Harden, who I don't really want on this team because the way he's forcing his way out of Houston isn't very pretty. But the Phillies need to make, as you said, Phillies are making moves
Yeah,
to bring
they're
stars in.
supposedly going after Theo Epstein. That's the he took over. He was the GM for the Red Sox back in like 2002 when they went on to win in 2004. And then I believe he was part of the Cubs organization when they went on their World Series run. Yeah, so they're definitely going
a
after
guy who knows his stuff.
Yeah, definitely knows how to run a baseball operation.
Find those farm talent for us, because that's what this team needs. This town needs. We need more stars, guys who show up. Bryce Harper's a star, yeah, but name another star on the Phillies that's a real star power.
Alec Boehm.
Yeah,
he's the future, man.
he could be the future,
Yeah.
but he's not a star
Finished
right now.
Second in rookie of the year.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I like to see that. But we still, Rhys Hoskins had a season like that. Not as a rookie, but he had a season like that. I want to see more. I want to see more growth. And I want to see a star. Another star is born. And then the 76ers, it can't be Ben and Joel. They're kind of stale a little bit. We need to figure out what the situation is with them. Hopefully we find someone. Doesn't need to light the world on fire. But when are we going to find, or when is the 76ers going to find the guy to be I'm trying to think of a good player to compare them to. Where are we going to find our Eric Gordon? Guy who just balls off the bench. But Eric Gordon's a star in his own right to some degree. A Jamal Crawford. Guys like that play really, really well. And you don't have to pay them too much. And the Eagles. They need a wide receiver. They do. I know. Build a team with your line. The line's actually held a little bit this year. Just a little bit. Not too great. I think half the sacks can be attributed to the line. I think the other half can be attributed to Carson's decision-making abilities.
I think they're getting Isaac Seumalo back for this Sunday. Apparently, he's been practicing. So
you're going to need it against Myles Garrett.
Yeah. So it's going to be helpful to have a guard like that back in there.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the point still remains. Where's the star power? Sanders was out for too long. You need guys to help just push you over the edge just a little bit.
That Brandon Brooks injury really, a lot of people just totally forgot that he even exists. But losing an all-pro right guard just really messed up the line this year. You can tell.
Yeah. And then you got guys like Brandon Graham on the other end. He's playing like a star.
Yeah, finally.
Finally playing like a star. He's unbelievable.
Had 2 down years and then...
You can thank Fletcher for that, though. You watch every play. He's double-teamed.
He's double-teamed every play. And a lot of people want to give me flack about that, but we don't have enough time to go into that.
We don't. It could be hours. We are going to wrap up today's show. Evan Guerin goes, agree with Jimmy. Can't be underselling Boom. I agree. I mean, look, I didn't disagree. I want him to be bigger. I want more.
Yeah,
I'm greedy.
I think you're going to get that this year, Tony. I really do.
I want to. I'm the most excited about the Phillies of all the professional sports in Philadelphia. It's the Phillies that I care about the most. For all those listening to us on YouTube, really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching today's or listening to today's episode of Tony's Takes. If you're our first-time viewer, sorry, I'm getting choked up. I'm about to burp. If you're a first-time viewer, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We have 22 subscribers, and we love every one of you. Double-click the notification bell when you do so. That way you get notified every time we go live. Also, if you've been watching us on YouTube, you see the beautiful ticker underneath your screen. And you see that our Twitter account is at Tonys_takes, so make sure you go and follow us there. That's at Tonys_takes. And the mailbag, you mail the mailbag, it gets read on the show. And the mailbag is tonystakes.1851@gmail.com.
The mailbag!
That's right, Jim, the mailbag. You email it, you get on the show with your hot takes. They're scorchers, and so make sure to go and do that. And finally, as I said, subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, make sure if you're listening to us, not on YouTube, but on Apple Podcasts, which is where the recorded version of this show goes up, make sure to leave a 5-star review. All 5-star reviews get read on the show. And we really do appreciate it when you subscribe. It helps us out, helps spread the word. And yeah, that's the thing. The biggest thing to spread the word about this great show, tell your friends. If you really do enjoy it, the best way to get others to grow this program, to make the platform fun, to have people more interactive in the chat is to spread the word about Tony's Takes. There's very few things in this world. Everything's so on demand, Jim. There's very few things where people can come around the screen and watch it live all at the same time. Television's dead, but our live YouTube stream isn't. It's a great place to come, hang out with friends, talk to people who are like-minded about Philadelphia sports. Jim, really do appreciate it. thanks for being on today's episode of Tony's Takes.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Yes, thank you, Jim. For nothing further to do, I know I'm botching it all, but there's just so much emotion. One more house cleaning thing before we go. Housekeeping thing. There's not going to be an episode next week. It's Thanksgiving. I plan on, celebrating a great holiday.
Watch the Hawks.
Watch the Hawks. 400 years since the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. It's a very momentous event. Who would have thought that this is the way we were celebrating Thanksgiving? However, still, me and Jim will not be in the studio. We might schedule maybe a non-Thursday live stream or something. That might happen. But if that happens, make sure to follow us on Twitter, wherever, YouTube. You'll see it pop up if another stream comes around. Okay, that wraps up the show. Thanks for listening to Tony's Takes. Really do appreciate it. We look forward to seeing everyone on maybe not next week's episode, but the next episode of Tony's Takes. Thanks for listening.
The premier sports talk radio, it's Tony's Takes.
Here we go.